So good afternoon, Lillian. Thanks so much for joining us on this week's Business Owner Spotlight. Would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us all a bit about what you do?
Yes, sure. And thank you so much for having me. I am a music teacher, educator, and researcher. Currently, I run two businesses. One of these businesses is solely focused on offering music education services to music learners, from beginners to advanced and professional levels, and also accredited music teachers teaching qualifications and CPD courses. And more about this line of work can be seen in our website at www.enactmusic.com. The other business I run is focused on career development of PhD students and early career researchers. And again, more information can be found on www.futurereadycareer.com.
That's brilliant, Lillian, and thanks. A good couple of plugs in there. Get them in early on. So who would be your ideal customer? You talked about PhD students, and what about the other business? And what sort of people would you most like to talk to?
Yes, so basically we work with three main categories of customers. One is of course the music learners who want to develop their musical knowledge and musicianship skills. And this includes people from all age ranges, from children as young as 3 to adults and even senior learners. The second category are music teachers from all parts of the world who want to obtain a UK-based accredited music teaching qualification and develop their teaching and music teaching career to the next level. And this includes teachers working in a variety of settings. That can be early years, primary and secondary schools, instrumental and vocal teaching, and even in community settings. And finally, the third category of clients are people who are completing or who have completed a PhD and who may be struggling to get the jobs that they want to get, be it in academia or industry.
Okay, that's interesting. And do you do all of this face to face, or is some of it done online, or how do you actually deliver your service then?
Yes, so we deliver the music teachers course was actually since the starting point an online course. Obviously, it's a course that involves self-paced learning through courses and resources that we have. And also a mentoring aspect. So each music teacher gets a mentor who will support them through online meetings in the course. So this enables people from different parts of the world to be taking part in the course. In terms of music lessons, so maybe piano, singing, or other aspects of music, the majority of clients are face-to-face, but obviously we moved to online during the pandemic. And also in terms of the PhD work, it's a variety of in-person versus online. So it's kind of a hybrid learning model that we have in place.
And you mentioned the pandemic then. What sort of impact did it have on your business, and how has it been since, like moving online? Has that improved or has that hindered your business, do you think?
So because we were already delivering our music teachers course fully online, moving the other parts of the business online, at least for me, did not come as a big shock.
Sure.
But obviously many of our music teachers are actually, the majority were delivering in-person lessons, and also the students were not used to that sort of way of working. So that meant that we had to do a lot of work in terms of obviously the practicalities of moving online. That included obviously thinking about how can we do this shift in a way that people will be keen obviously to do it, and also comfortable to do it. So from that on, we decided that our learners would choose what online platform they wanted to use. Obviously, that created a high workload for teachers because they had to learn how to deal with the technicalities, and also be quickly shifting from, let's say, a lesson on Zoom to a next lesson on Skype to a next lesson on WhatsApp. But we then created as well a support group for teachers, and it was obviously the pandemic was a terrible thing, but at the same time, at least for us in our work environment, it was a kind of a catalyst for a more collaborative way of working. And that made us see things in a different way, and also establish now this kind of more hybrid approach that we have in place.
Yeah, so it's maybe you know, a terrible thing, but it's maybe enhanced your service a little bit.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
you were able, it wasn't a big shock to you, but you were able to support your customer base so that they could move online. Is that right?
Yes, yes. So we did support them with sometimes perhaps a new family, new parents might not be aware of how Zoom works or even keen to move on. Obviously, we couldn't accept each choice of all learning platforms. We had to consider things to do with child protection as well. So we had
Yes.
to, have a wider selection, but a selection that we knew would work in terms of sound and so on. So we did support people with training and also our main concern in the beginning was really how can we support the people to do this change, but in a way that wouldn't come across as a big step. Obviously, it was a big step, and
Yes.
we are very grateful that people actually decided, in the majority of cases, to take that step forward.
Yeah.
And fortunately, most of our business continued working with not a lot of problems after that. So everyone agreed, or the majority of clients, I would say that at the very least 85% of clients decided then to move with the tuition online. So I thought that was a very good number considering the circumstances.
85%, yeah, it's a good result.
Yeah.
So tell me then, what's been your biggest learning about yourself then since you've been in business?
Yes, I mean there are a lot of learnings, obviously, that that I have learned about myself, but I suppose the biggest one is really that the sky is the limit. I think sometimes we may create barriers for ourselves in terms of our beliefs. Sometimes we may think, well, actually, I cannot do this or I cannot do that. And in fact, it might be that at that point in time, that is true, that's applicable. But if we actually believe in ourselves, if we think of a strategy, if we surround ourselves with the support that we need, perhaps we are not going to achieve everything we want in one day or even a month or 3 years, but I believe that the sky is the limit, and we need to consider the future in terms of what is the future version of myself or the future version of my business. What do I see, or what I would like to see, and then work towards that as best as possible.
Yeah, so just using your vision then to get rid of those self-limiting beliefs that we all have.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to think big.
Yes.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah. And what about what sort of challenges? I mean, we talked about the pandemic, but in just a normal business life, what are the biggest challenges you've had to overcome?
Yeah, I think for me, in the beginning, and this is something I'm still working on, sometimes I have a tendency to want to do everything by myself.
Okay.
It's sometimes a need, obviously, whenever you're starting with a new business and you're considering the budget available that you have. So you have to make decisions in terms of perhaps, yes, I'm going to design my own website. Yes, I'm going to interact with each request for tuition that comes in. And I like actually to deal with people anyways. So that tendency to do everything by ourselves is something that can really be a problem because we then become exhausted and we lose the clarity of thought that we need to actually consider our business strategy, the scaling of the business. So I think we need a balance. Obviously, we have tough decisions to make, but we need to learn when is the right moment to actually get someone else to help me here with these other things so that I can then focus on the things that I enjoy doing the most.
And it takes, I know from other conversations like this, it takes a fair bit of confidence to actually, entrust some of your business to somebody else. Would you agree with that?
Yes, absolutely. I think that credibility is one of the most important, if not the most important aspect in business. And that credibility, having our clients know that the people with the knowledge are the ones that are obviously delivering that knowledge is extremely important. So the training and support also that we offer to the people that we then employ, I think is vital, but also the relationship we establish obviously with our employees and also with our clients, so that we can learn from all of them in terms of what are their needs, how can we best support them, so that we can build that trust that then enables us to create the knowledge and the reliability. Obviously, it's a process and it takes time.
Yeah, but you've got a good handle on the cycle, so it sounds like you're well on the way with that. And what about, have you ever had a coach, or who would be the best coach you've ever had, and why? Why would you say that?
Yeah, I mean, I never had a business coach as such, but my role models are actually my grandparents. I was fortunate to spend a lot of time with them when I was growing up. And I remember how through their storytelling of the darkest moments in their lives and how they went about solving those things, and how clearly they would tell me, well, we've learned this, we've learned that, and how through those stories they taught me the importance of being persistent, of being resilient in what we do, of being a person of my own words, with clarity and communication, but at the same time, someone who is kind to others. And those lessons are lessons that I'm very grateful to have received, and I make the best use that I can from them. But also, I cannot leave here unmentioned actually the impact of my own students in my own learning. Obviously, perhaps you cannot say that they were my own coaches, but to be honest with you, obviously teaching is a two-way journey, and we learn as much from our learners as they learn from us. And it was through, I mean, I've been teaching for more than 30 years now, through knowing so many different people, and people who, you know, had diverse learning needs, and that pushed me to do the best that I can and learn.
Yeah, that's really interesting that you feel you learn as much from the people you teach. So it obviously shows you've got a really open mindset, and you're open to learning as well.
Sorry, could you just repeat that point?
Yeah, I'm just saying it's interesting to hear that you learn as much from the people that you teach, and you must have an open mindset to be able to receive those learnings from the people you're actually teaching.
Yes, I think an open mindset is vital, and fundamental in everything we do, be it teaching, be it in any set of business. I think it's all down to how we empathize with our clients. How do we understand what they really need, what they want, and what would be a high value offer or proposition that we can offer to them, but it has to be meaningful. And that level of meaningfulness can only be really assessed in relation to what they think of that service, and what it means to them. And obviously that requires transformation all the time, because people change, culture changes too. So it requires that matching effort. But to be honest with you, I think that's the most important part in a business, and that open mindset is what enables that constant transformation to take place.
Yeah, I would strongly agree with that. Yeah. And tell me, so you're teaching for 30 years. Have you learned any favorite quotes or sayings that serve you well along the way?
Well, yes, I mean, the quotes I will mention here, I think are, very, very old in a sense, and many of us will, apply them. And we also need to change the way that we apply the quotes. But one that has really guided my life has been which one was it? I'm just trying to remember here. Oh, yes, never leave for tomorrow what you can do today. In a way, I mean, I've been really religiously applying that to the point that I got really tired as well. So now I am trying to combine that one with also the other one, which is live each day as if it was your last. So that way I can balance a bit more between, yes, the things I have to do, but also enjoying life a bit more.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, very good. And then tell me, what does the future look like for your business, and what do you see as the main challenges moving forward?
Yes, I mean, I think the future and the present are already quite digital in a sense. And I think that online learning brings a lot of interesting opportunities in terms of accessibility. For example, it makes learning much more accessible to anyone in any part of the world. And that is something that I really like, that idea of having teachers in our course who are from, let's say, Portugal, Ireland, China, you name it. And it's a fantastic community of learners that then have many interesting insights to share with each other. So yes, we are offering a course, but that course is also that experience that they get by learning with each other as well. So that peer learning experience. And so from that perspective, our provision, as I mentioned earlier, is now hybrid. So those people who prefer the in-person elements, we are able to offer that. Those who are happy with a mixture of self-paced versus kind of real-time learning events can also have that. In terms of challenges, I think the biggest challenge, at least for my business, is really to find people who are quite knowledgeable about marketing strategies for the international market and who provide an affordable and yet reliable offer for small businesses. So that is, and who are able to deal with the technicalities of things like to do with the Facebook pixel and things like that. Because it's very difficult for, someone that is running a business to be knowledgeable about all those things. And so that is one of my current challenges.
Okay. And just to finish up then, if you were to start your business again, is there anything you would do differently?
Yes, I think I would have started considering the importance of strategy sooner. Because sometimes we start and we just keep down thinking of the little, they are important things, obviously, but we focus on the resources available and things like that, on the more smaller aspects, perhaps, rather than seeing it all on a kind of a trajectory. And once you have that trajectory and you're able to think, well, in 5 years, I would like to be here, I'd like to be there, that somehow somehow makes you work towards that in a more effective way. So having that vision, the vision not just for yourself, not just for your business, but also a vision for yourself, I think are vital aspects at the beginning. And if I could do something differently, it would be to start that aspect sooner.
Yeah, totally agree with that. And look, thanks so much, Lilian, for sharing all that with us. Some brilliant learnings in there, and I appreciate you being so open and honest with us today. That was brilliant.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.